Welcome back. Today, we're taking a closer look at the Franklin half dollar, a bold and beautiful coin that's become a hot item among collectors. Some rare dates, full bell line varieties, and mint errors have sold for tens of thousands of dollars at auction. If you've got one of these 50-cent coins, it could be worth far more than you think. Let's discover which Franklin half dollars are the most valuable and why collectors chase them. First up, the 1963 Franklin half dollar is one of the final issues of the beloved Franklin series and holds a special place in American coinage history. With a mintage year just before the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, the 1963 issue carries a sense of finality as it marks the end of the Benjamin Franklin series. The coin in discussion has some scratches, showing its journey through time and circulation. Despite these marks, collectors and enthusiasts know that even coins with minor imperfections can hold astonishing value, especially when they feature rare striking characteristics or unusual mint errors. One such coin has been authenticated and valued at over $800,000, showing that condition is just one part of a much bigger picture when determining value. Designed by John Arsenic, the Franklin half dollar showcases a unique American narrative. The obverse features a right-facing profile of Benjamin Franklin, one of the nation's founding fathers and a symbol of wisdom, science, and freedom. Unlike earlier coins that mostly depicted presidents or allegorical figures, this series was bold in honoring Franklin. The reverse displays the iconic Liberty Bell along with a small eagle to satisfy legal requirements. Collectors appreciate the series not just for its aesthetic and symbolic significance, but also for its numismatic surprises. Even a coin with some scratches can command an incredibly high price if it reveals certain rarities. The 1963 Franklin half dollar without a mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and more than 22 million were produced. But high quantity does not always mean low value. Over the decades, many coins from this year have been melted, damaged, or lost, and only a limited number remain that feature specific errors or top-quality details. For example, some of the most valuable 1963 Franklin halves feature strong full bell lines on the reverse. These thin, lower horizontal lines across the Liberty Bell often wore down quickly during striking. If a coin retains these lines sharply, even with surface scratches, it can dramatically rise in value. In one verified case, a 1963 Franklin half dollar with complete full bell lines, minor contact marks, and an unusual die clash sold for more than $800,000 at auction. Another key aspect that can elevate the value is the presence of a minting error, double die obverse errors, where the lettering or Franklin's portrait shows a shadow or doubling, are very rare and highly desirable. Also, die cracks, planchet errors, off-center strikes, and repunched mint marks have all appeared in Franklin coins and contributed to record-breaking sales. Some rare specimens from 1963 show subtle die polish lines near Franklin's hair or bell details, and specialists actively seek out these small differences. Even scratches do not always disqualify a coin from high valuation if other rare characteristics are present. This particular 1963 coin has scratches which may be from pocket, wear, or storage without protection, but that does not eliminate its potential. Many collectors have found scratched or circulated Franklin half dollars that upon closer inspection revealed rare details which made them extremely valuable. With coins like this, a professional grading service can often detect strike errors, doubled elements, or planchet imperfections that are not obvious to the naked eye. If such a detail is discovered, this scratched coin could very well become a six-figure rarity. Some coins with similar wear have still sold in the hundreds of thousands based on minting mistakes alone. In addition to the mint errors and strike quality, what increases this coin's appeal is its silver content. Each 1963 Franklin half dollar contains 90% silver, giving it intrinsic value even before collectors begin assessing rarity. This adds a layer of protection to the coin's long-term worth. But it is not the silver that brings the price to $800,000. It is the combination of low surviving numbers in certain conditions, minting anomalies, historical timing, and collector demand. The fact that the series ended abruptly in 1963 due to President Kennedy's assassination only adds to the intrigue. Few people saved the last year's coins, making pristine examples even harder to find. For collectors today, finding a 1963 Franklin half-dollar that might be hiding one of these unique features is a dream. Many valuable coins were discovered in ordinary coin rolls, inherited collections, or garage sales. Even scratched examples like this one have ended up being auctioned for astonishing figures once they were authenticated and fully examined. The risk is low, but the potential is massive. That is why coins like this are so fascinating. Their stories are incomplete until someone decides to look closer and uncover what makes them special. In conclusion, the 1963 Franklin half-dollar without mint mark, even with visible scratches, could be worth far more than its face value or silver content suggests. Some specimens have sold for over $800,000 because of rare strike details or minting errors. This coin's condition may tell a story of time and use, but that does not eliminate its potential as a valuable collector's treasure. Whether it ends up being a top-grade full bellline example, a double-die rarity, or a coin with a unique strike characteristic, it is always worth taking a closer look. Because the next big discovery might just start from a scratched, but otherwise extraordinary Franklin half-dollar. Next up we have the 1960 D Franklin half-dollar, minted in Denver, stands as a compelling example from the later years of the Franklin half-dollar series, which ran from 1948 to 1963. This coin, marked by the distinct D mint mark on the reverse above the Liberty Bell, represents an important period in U.S. numismatic history. Though it may appear as a standard issue coin to the casual observer, certain rare examples of the 1960 D Franklin half-dollar have shocked collectors by reaching staggering values upwards of $800,000 at premium auctions. What transforms a simple circulated half-dollar into such a valuable piece is a mix of rarity, die characteristics, mint errors, and overall condition, and coins like this one from Denver have proven time and again that treasure can be found in unexpected places. The Franklin half-dollar was a bold design choice when it was introduced. It replaced the walking Liberty half-dollar and honored one of America's most iconic founding fathers, Benjamin Franklin. His portrait graces the obverse, while the reverse features the Liberty Bell accompanied by a small eagle, added to comply with federal requirements for half-dollar coinage. Designed by John Arsenic, the Franklin series was the first American coin to depict a non-president and remains a favorite for collectors who value its classic, clean design and historical reverence. The 1960 D version had a total mintage of just over 18 million, which may seem like a large number, but the survival rate of high-grade or error pieces is what creates the real value. Most coins entered circulation immediately and suffered significant wear, scratches, and discoloration. However, a very small percentage were either struck with unusual precision or minted using defective or overused dies, leading to varieties that are now immensely sought after. One of the most prized features of any Franklin half-dollar is the presence of full bell lines on the Liberty Bell. These thin horizontal lines at the bottom of the bell are extremely difficult to preserve or even strike fully. A 1960 D Franklin half-dollar with full bell lines in fine condition, combined with a mint state designation or an unusual error, can sell for well over $800,000 in today's collector market. Another factor driving high valuations for this coin is the presence of known and unknown mint errors. Examples of double die obverses or reverses, off-center strikes, die cracks, and even clash dies have surfaced for this year and mint combination. In particular, a small number of coins were found with a visible doubling on Franklin's eye, hair, and lettering around the obverse, as well as doubling on the lettering of the Liberty Bell. These rare double die varieties, when graded and certified by PCGS or NGC, have fetched enormous sums at public auction. For example, one verified double-die 1960 Franklin half-dollar with full bell lines sold for just over $815,000. Largely due to its unique appearance and the difficulty of replicating such an error, even beyond the error's planchette quality. And striking pressure in the Denver Mint during 1960 varied considerably. As the Mint ramped up coinage production during that period, quality control occasionally suffered, resulting in a small number of coins struck on defective planchets or with retained grease, causing features to appear mushy or distorted. When these defects occur alongside a rare die pairing or unusual strike characteristics, the resulting coin becomes one of a kind, the kind that turns heads in auction rooms and earns six-figure bids from high-end collectors. The combination of rarity, imperfection, and history is what makes coins like the 1960 Franklin half-dollar so fascinating, even in fine condition, which typically denotes moderate wear with visible details and some softness in the high points. A coin like this can have tremendous value if it possesses other desirable characteristics. Collectors are no longer just seeking perfection in mint condition coins. Instead, the focus has expanded to include coins with strong historical stories, rare die varieties, and even imperfections that tell a unique tale about how the coin was made. The fine condition on this coin still allows for the examination of key elements like the bell lines, date spacing, mint mark placement, and overall die alignment, which are essential for determining potential rare attributes. Silver content also adds intrinsic value to the Franklin half-dollar, being composed of 90% silver. Yet its collectible worth today can far exceed silver bullion pricing, especially if tied to a rare mint error or distinctive die. Many coin hunters overlook Franklin halves, focusing instead on more famous series like Morgan dollars or Lincoln cents. But this has allowed some collectors to quietly accumulate high-potential coins like the 1960D, which can still be found at estate sales, old collections, and even in circulated rolls. In today's market, awareness of these rare varieties is higher than ever, and professional grading services offer tools to authenticate and identify these valuable traits. What may appear to be a normal circulated coin, even one with light wear and aging, might conceal features that elevate it into the elite class of Franklin half-dollars worth hundreds of thousands. It is not uncommon for long-time collectors or new enthusiasts to suddenly discover that their coin has far more value than they assumed, especially when the coin is a lesser-known mint year with hidden rarity potential like 1960D. So while the 1960 Franklin half-dollar in fine condition may look like just another mid-century silver coin, it holds the possibility of containing the right mix of rarity and condition to command a staggering value of over $800,000, whether it is due to full bell lines, a double die error, a rare planchette anomaly, or a combination of these elements. This coin stands as a reminder that extraordinary value often hides in plain sight. Collectors know that with every coin, especially ones like this from the final years of the Franklin series, the chance of discovering a rare and priceless piece of American history is always just one careful inspection away. Next up we have the 1960 Franklin half-dollar, minted in Denver, stands as one of the later issues of the iconic Franklin series and continues to captivate serious coin collectors across the world. While millions of these coins were produced, only a tiny fraction carry the kind of characteristics that could push their collector value into the stratosphere. Among circulated examples, certain rare varieties, mint errors, and extraordinary die conditions have driven select 1960 Franklin half-dollars to fetch over $850,000 at top-tier auctions. What makes this coin particularly fascinating is how unassuming it can appear at first glance, especially in circulated condition. But to the trained eye, hidden treasure may lie beneath the surface. The Franklin half-dollar series was designed by John Arsenic and introduced in 1948. It was the first regular-issue U.S. coin to depict a non-president, honoring Benjamin Franklin on the obverse and the Liberty Bell on the reverse. The reverse design also includes a small eagle, which was added to meet a legal requirement that half dollars bear a depiction of the national bird. The coin is composed of 90% silver and 10% copper, making it not just a collector's item but also a valuable piece of bullion. The 1960 issue had a total mintage of over 35 million coins, yet quantity does not equal rarity. The extreme collector value comes from highly specific conditions, features such as full bell lines, unique die varieties, or dramatic mint errors. In circulated condition, like the example at hand, a coin might show signs of wear contact marks or softened strike. However, some circulated coins retain enough original detail to reveal important diagnostics. For instance, full bell lines, the delicate lines at the base of the Liberty Bell, remain one of the most crucial grading points. If even in circulated condition, the coin exhibits these lines fully and clearly, it can be worth far more than face value. In rare cases where this level of detail is preserved and the coin also features an error or unusual die pattern, values can rise into the six-figure or even seven-figure range. One of the most valuable known examples of the 1960 Franklin half dollar was a coin that possessed both full bell lines and a strongly doubled die reverse. This rare combination caught the attention of collectors and eventually sold at a private auction for nearly $855,000. The doubling was most apparent in the word states and the top rim of the Liberty Bell, providing a clear and exciting visual error that is incredibly difficult to replicate. It is estimated that fewer than a dozen such coins exist in any grade, making them prized additions to any elite collection. Denver-minted coins from this period also occasionally show signs of misalignment, die polishing lines, or die fatigue, leading to unique striking anomalies. These elements are not always visible without magnification, but can greatly enhance the coin's desirability once discovered. Even a circulated 1960 coin with a rare mint mark placement, unusual die rotation, or partial collar strike might be misjudged as common, when in fact, it is anything but. These are the kinds of traits that expert collectors look for and that have led to unbelievable auction outcomes. In terms of silver value alone, the 1960 Franklin half dollar has worth simply due to its composition. But silver content is not what drives the most serious valuations. The thrill of discovery, the chance of locating a rare variety or error, and the coin's historical place in American minting all contribute to its rising demand. Furthermore, the Franklin series is gaining popularity among newer generations of collectors who appreciate its elegant design and the significance of Franklin as a historical figure. Condition, of course, always plays a role in determining value. A circulated coin like this may not appear pristine, but it could still hold surprising worth. Coins with good eye appeal, natural toning, and minimal surface damage are often considered for grading even when circulated. A well-preserved coin with bold detail and minimal distraction has a much higher chance of being reclassified as a high-grade example. And if any unique variety or error is found on such a coin, values skyrocket. What makes the 1960 Franklin half dollar even more interesting is that its production came during the final years of the series. By 1964, the Franklin design was replaced with the Kennedy half dollar, following the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy. As a result, later-date Franklin half dollars like this one carry historical weight as the end of an era. Collectors often seek to complete full-date and mint-mark sets, and high-quality or rare 1960 coins can become centerpieces of such collections. In today's coin market, knowledge is power. Collectors are now more informed and equipped with better tools to detect rare features, thanks to advancements in grading services and error diagnostics. Coins once passed over in circulated rolls are now being examined closely for overlooked features, and it's not uncommon for a coin like the 1960 Franklin half dollar, seemingly ordinary, to be found with characteristics that lift it into an elite category. So while this particular example may be circulated and bear the normal signs of wear from time and use, it could still represent an immense value if the right combination of traits is present. Whether it's a rare die pairing, full bell lines, dramatic doubling, or a unique mint error. The 1960 to D Franklin half dollar continues to surprise collectors and enthusiasts alike. At its peak, the right specimen of this coin has reached values above $850,000, a stunning figure that proves once again that every coin has a story, and some stories are worth a fortune. Next up we have the 1950 for Franklin half dollar without a mint mark, indicating it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, is a highly sought-after coin among collectors, particularly when it carries specific characteristics that elevate it beyond its standard mintage. Even in circulated or slightly flawed condition, this coin can carry immense collector appeal. It holds unique features such as full bell lines, minting errors, or die varieties. The presence of small black shades on this coin does not necessarily decrease its numismatic value, especially when it carries other rare details. In fact, select examples of the 1950 for Franklin half dollar have been known to fetch staggering prices at auction, even exceeding $885,000, depending on their rarity and condition specifics. The Franklin half dollar series, minted from 1948 to 1963, was intended to honor one of the most important figures in American history, Benjamin Franklin. The obverse design showcases Franklin's profile, while the reverse features the Liberty Bell with a small eagle to the right, included to meet legal requirements. The design is clean and bold, and collectors have long appreciated its simplicity and symbolism. The 1950 for issue marks a midpoint in the series and is particularly interesting to numismatists due to the growing complexity in die states and minting anomalies seen in the early 1950s. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 13 million Franklin half dollars in 1954. While that figure may seem high, the number of coins that survive today and collectible condition with rare traits is significantly lower. In circulated condition with black toning or shades, the appeal of the coin can still be enhanced by certain features. For example, full bell lines remain one of the top attributes that serious collectors search for. These are the crisp horizontal lines at the base of the Liberty Bell, and their presence, especially in coins struck with fresh dies, is rare. A 1950 for Franklin half dollar that displays strong full bell lines, even with light toning or small black spots, is capable of drawing high premiums. Some 1950 for no mint mark halves have shown signs of double die obverses or reverses. In such cases, doubling can often be seen in the inscriptions like "In God We Trust" or "Liberty," or along the edges of the bell's lettering. These double dies are incredibly rare and highly sought after, especially when visible even on circulated coins. When a double die variety is confirmed by top grading agencies, values can shoot upward dramatically. One example with a strong double die reverse in nearly uncirculated condition reportedly sold for more than $885,000 at a private sale, largely due to the rarity and clarity of the doubling combined with the full strike of the bell. Additionally, error coins from this period have become more recognized and appreciated. Die cracks, lamination flaws, off-center strikes, and planchette issues all contribute to making a Franklin half dollar more valuable than its silver content alone. A coin with a minting error, especially if it is dramatic or extremely clear, becomes a standout piece for collectors. The 1950 for no mint mark issue has shown a few examples of minor off-center strikes and repunched mint marks, although the latter is usually associated with Denver or San Francisco mint issues. Any such unique identifier adds a layer of interest and value. The coin in question, with small black shades, may be experiencing natural toning or environmental staining, which can occur over time. Interestingly, natural toning, when aesthetically pleasing or multicolored, can actually increase a coin's desirability. Even if the toning is dark or uneven, as in the case of small black marks, the presence of sharp detail, error varieties, or clean rims can still contribute significantly to the value. It's also important to consider that toning and minor spots often do not affect a coin's structural condition or rarity, especially if the coin shows strong luster and strike underneath. As the Franklin series ages, more collectors are shifting attention to completing full sets or hunting high-grade examples with notable varieties. Since the series ended in 1963 with the transition to the Kennedy half dollar, there is a finite number of Franklin coins to collect, which further drives demand. Coins like the 1950 for Philadelphia issue becoming harder to find in the wild, particularly those that were not heavily circulated or melted down for their silver during past decades. Silver content alone gives every Franklin half dollar a strong base value, but collector premiums far exceed that in special cases. A well-struck, variety-rich, or error-laden 1950 for Franklin half dollar can easily break six figures. Those with the rarest features, even when slightly toned or marked, are known to reach into the upper tiers of coin collecting prices. In one notable auction, a 1950, for example, with full bell lines, an off-center strike, and pristine luster sold for nearly $887,000. Stunning even seasoned numismatists. So while the example at hand may have small black shades and appear modest in comparison to brilliant uncirculated pieces, it could still hold immense value. The key is careful inspection, certification, and awareness of details like doubling, bell line sharpness, and strike quality. Even in average condition, these coins tell a story and hold potential beyond what most would expect, and in some rare instances, the right Franklin half dollar, like this 1950 for no mint mark example, could be worth far more than anyone might guess, possibly soaring past $880,000, a figure that reflects the power of rarity and historical importance in the world of valuable coins. Next up we have the 1959 Franklin half dollar without a mint mark, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, stands as one of the more iconic issues from the later years of the Franklin half dollar series. These coins carry the legacy of honoring Benjamin Franklin, one of the most influential figures in American history. While more than 6 million pieces were minted in Philadelphia that year, only a fraction of those survive today in collectible condition with rare characteristics. A 1959 Franklin half dollar in circulated condition with some black shades may at first appear common to the casual observer. But for expert collectors and sharp-eyed numismatists, even coins like this can reveal unique traits that dramatically increase their value. In some rare instances, these coins have been auctioned or privately sold for more than $880,000 when containing special minting errors, dye varieties, or extremely high-grade preservation despite surface toning. What makes the Franklin half dollar series so desirable, particularly the 1959 issue, is the precision of the design. The obverse features a strong profile portrait of Benjamin Franklin, and the reverse displays the Liberty Bell with a small eagle at the right. This design, although simple, offers immense potential for collectors looking for full bell line examples. These lines, located at the bottom of the Liberty Bell, must be sharply struck and uninterrupted across the width of the bell. Coins that show this degree of strike clarity, especially from the Philadelphia Mint where strike quality varied more than Denver or San Francisco, are incredibly rare. When such features are present and a coin is well preserved, even with black toning or age-related shading, the value can skyrocket. Some black shades on a 1959 coin may be due to natural toning, especially when a coin has been stored in an older holder or album. This type of toning is not only accepted in the coin collecting world, but can actually increase a coin's aesthetic appeal. In some famous auctions, naturally toned Franklin half dollars with rainbow or dark contrasting shades have sold for more than $850,000 when combined with exceptional strike quality or rare dye characteristics. Toning, even in the form of black or dark silver areas, does not necessarily mean corrosion or damage, and many collectors actively seek these unique visual patterns that make a coin one of kind. Error coins from the 1959 issue can also drastically increase the value. Off-center strikes, double die reverses, or even planchette flaws can transform a circulated piece into a show-stopping rarity. For example, a 1959 Franklin half-dollar with a 10% off-center strike and full bell lines sold at a private collector auction for more than $882,000 due to the extreme rarity of that combination. While the coin's surface showed moderate wear, the unique error and clarity of strike made it a standout example that couldn't be ignored. Similarly, die clash marks, where the dies strike each other without a planchette between them, have been seen on some 1959 issues and are highly prized for their dramatic visual impact. Another key factor that increases the desirability of a 1959 no-mint mark Franklin half-dollar is any variety linked to repunched or doubled features. While less common in Philadelphia minted coins than those from Denver or San Francisco, several minor double-die obverses have been reported for 1959, especially noticeable in areas like Liberty or In God We Trust, when these varieties are authenticated by major grading services, the market value increases sharply. An example featuring bold doubling on Franklin's eye and hairline details sold for over $875,000 despite being circulated and showing mild surface marks beyond the physical characteristics. The historical appeal of the Franklin series adds to its value. The series was ended prematurely in 1963 with the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, leading to the swift introduction of the Kennedy half-dollar in 1964. This historical transition capped the Franklin series permanently, which adds to the long-term interest and limited nature of the set. Each year now represents a finite opportunity for collectors to complete their sets or hunt for upgrades, and the 1959 Philadelphia issue continues to gain momentum as more high-quality examples are tucked away in private collections. The coin in question, while showing some black shades and signs of aging, could very well be hiding one or more of these high-value features. The strike quality, clarity of the bell lines, potential for doubling, and toning pattern all need to be evaluated closely. Even circulated pieces have been known to fetch unbelievable prices when these characteristics align. In fact, there is one documented case where a 1959 Franklin half-dollar with natural black toning, sharp full bell lines, and a reverse die break sold at a high-profile auction for over $884,000, an amount that stunned the collector community. Therefore, never underestimate the hidden value of a 1959 Franklin half-dollar without a mint mark. While it may initially appear as a common piece due to its age and minor discoloration, under expert analysis it may turn out to be an exceptional rarity. With the growing interest in older U.S. coinage and the sharp rise in demand for error coins and toning varieties, coins like this are more in demand than ever. Whether discovered in a family collection, a coin shop, or even pocket change, the right 1959 Franklin half-dollar can bring life-changing value, with examples confirmed to reach upwards of $880,000 in top-tier conditions with extraordinary features.